Master of Ceremony, Ms. Triniwe Fagutse, Magesha Balala, Your Excellency King Mswati III, Representative Mdalengosi David, our distinguished guests, members of the diplomatic corps, valued friends and partners, widows of the struggle, members of the Masilela household, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Ngiyanivusela nibangwa. It is my tremendous pleasure and honor to welcome you on behalf of the Masilela family, and thank you for joining us this evening as we celebrate this major milestone in the history of number 43 legacy event. I would also like to thank the government of Swaziland, in particular Royal Swazispa, for allowing us to host this auspicious occasion. In this gathering, we are privileged to be joined by various dignitaries and distinguished guests from within Swaziland, some from South Africa, others from neighboring countries and the region at large. I am happy that we also have some of our sponsors amongst us. Without them, it would be difficult to host an event of this magnitude. Most importantly, I am delighted to welcome the widows of the struggle against apartheid with the theme for this year, Angeke Salibal, which aptly captures the essence behind tonight's event. I think each one of us has a story to share regarding those difficult liberation struggle years. However, I need to bring to the attention of this gathering to what informed this year's theme as indicated in your programs. Those of you who attended last year's number 43 legacy celebration will recall that Minister Lindiwe Zulu gave the keynote address. On her return to South Africa, she was interviewed by one of the radio stations regarding that very event. The family of our Grace Tabane, who is one of our guests tonight, the widow to Cassius Make, happened to be listening to that radio station. Immediately after hearing Minister Zulu's interview, they felt the urge to know more about this event, which occurs annually in Swaziland, and contacted the organizers of this event. After lengthy discussions and consultations, where our Grace poured out her pain, it became apparent that there is need to acknowledge and recognize the contribution made by these women behind the struggle. And that gave birth to this year's theme. I remember very well when we were preparing for this event, Elias said to me, he remarked to me to say that despite the many years which have passed, Sis Grace is still in tears whenever she talks about how her husband was ambushed and killed near Manzana in 1987, together with another comrade, Paul Dikelid, on their way to their hotel from Matsapa Airport. As a widow myself, I could easily relate to that pain, because your husband never really dies, but rather lives forever in your heart. Again, when I think back to one of our friends, Theophilus Dlodlo, Malume Viva, as my children used to fondly refer to him. Viva literally saved my daughter's life, Zinhle, who was a toddler then, as he refused to take her along that fateful evening. Hardly 5 minutes after they had left my house, Felix, who was in the same car with Viva, escaped the shooting with several bullet wounds. We heard him knocking at the door, dripping blood, to say, "I've been shot. Sis Busi, I've been shot." Viva is dead. He has been killed. I want to thank Dr. Zwelim Kize, as well as one of my sisters, Zanele, who happened to be visiting my house on that particular night, who turned one of our bedrooms to a ward where they were both treating Felix. But the saddest moment for me is that Felicia and Viva had just got married in my house, and their child, Makawe, was very young, a few months old. We thought, how do we deliver such horrible news to a newlywed bride as Felicia was, and later to the mother, that your husband or your son has been shot just at your doorstep? That pain still haunts me up to this very day. I am therefore pleased that today, as we take this very emotional and painful journey backwards into the history of our liberation struggle in South Africa, we should at least today pause to celebrate, honor, and cherish these formidable women who, despite all odds, raised families single-handedly, sometimes under very difficult and trying circumstances. Their sacrifice and commitment to the struggle can never be fully comprehended. Today we thank them for their endurance and suffering. Yes, we may not know or honor all widows of the struggle. However, those amongst us here today represent hundreds or even thousands who soldiered on despite very difficult conditions. I am therefore honored that number 43 Legacy Project can offer such an opportunity as well as an appropriate theme for this year. Ngeke salibala. Let us not forget. In conclusion, when we get together a few years down the line from today, I hope we'll be able to look back and say we seized the moment and finally succeeded in recognizing these widows who laid a foundation and greatly contributed to the prospects for a better life for all South Africans. Given the quality of tonight's gathering, I think it is fitting to say that the set out objectives will definitely be realized. Once again, a warm welcome to all of you to the Mountain Kingdom and to number 43 Legacy Dinner. The Masilelas are deeply appreciative, thrilled, and hope that this will be another pleasant occasion which will be engraved in your memories for many years to come. Thank you, and I wish you a successful evening, and please enjoy yourselves.